Thank you, Pam. And I think now you've gotten a good picture of the first line of the structure for the malaria campaign, and that is the prevention and treatment. And after that, we move on to the sustainability of the people so that they can provide their own incomes and livelihoods, and then into capacity building, which some slides will show you what I mean and we mean in terms of the capacity building. So we're on to Zimbabwe. And you'll see with the little marker that the brewery where we headed for and spent most of our time is right in the middle of Zimbabwe. We flew into Bulawayo, the second largest city in the country, and we were met there by 4 bishops, including Bishop Moyo, who was here at Ascension a couple of years ago. We traveled on a good road for about 6 hours, found our turn at a sign that said ELCZ, Brewery Mission. You can see standing water and mud. That gave us an indication of what might happen, and you guessed it, we got stuck in the mud, even with the 4-wheel drive, and we couldn't get out. Fortunately, even on paths where there are no buildings or people in sight, some come along out of nowhere. And soon we had 18 to 20 people who helped push us out of the mud. Never mind that we didn't get out of the vehicle, but they were all covered with mud, and it slowed up their walking time to wherever they were going. They were a gift of grace to us that day. We didn't make it into Brewery that night because of the roads, so we lacked by only 4 miles of completing our mission for that day. However, the next morning, we were able to make our way into seeing some sustainable projects, income-generating projects. And one of the projects was a chemical store. And this was were a group of people from the parish who'd gotten a loan, microloan, to start a business. And this was going to enable these 10 families to have an income so that they could sustain themselves with food and medication. So when we're out of there in a couple of years, when things are under control, that they are able to exist on their income that they make from these businesses. The next income-generating project that we visited was a poultry project. It was a women's project. And here they had purchased or had gotten with their loan 100 baby chicks. And they grew them to a size where they could be sold as broilers. And they did so well that they were able to purchase 200 more chicks. And here you see a very proud woman. Her husband was very eager to show us inside his home because he had a malaria net. And you can see him there tucking it under the bed. However, in this household, there are 2 adults and 11 children, and there is only 1 net. So we have more work to be done in this area as far as nets are concerned. The next project, income-generating project we visited was 6 women, and they had what they called a tuck store. We would call it maybe a 7-Eleven. And the 6 women were involved, and each of them had one of these stores on their properties. And they were able to generate enough income now that they could pay back their loan, and they would have money for medical treatments for their families. Now we're going to go on to capacity building. And capacity building is creating the options and structures to grow into the future. So this is probably the last rung of the ladder that we get to in the malaria campaign initiatives. Here we visited a school, and education certainly is a capacity building venture. This primary school had 1,026 students with an exceptional staff and principal. There were 7 buildings on this property, and several of them were built by UNICEF and several by our Lutheran World Federation. These classrooms were filled to the brim with students. Some had benches, but no desktops. Others sat on the floor, and the instruction was all in English. These students had a program for us. They wanted us to see what they had learned about malaria and malaria prevention. So they had been well informed, and they had written poems and had learned dances and chants. So we're going to get a little taste of one of those poems right now.
I am in grade 5A. I am here to present our poem about malaria. Northeast, southeast, and west, everywhere you go, people are crying, malaria, malaria, malaria. Yesterday, it was my brother. Today, it is my sister. People are suffering everywhere. Malaria, malaria, malaria. Headaches and vomiting, fevers everywhere. People are suffering from it. Malaria, malaria. Thank you.
As you could hear, she said, people are dying everywhere. Yesterday, my brother. Today, my sister. The next venue was some boys and girls that were doing a chant, and it was to also a malaria. Although you can't quite understand some of their words, you'll get the rhythm. We left that primary school to go to a secondary school, which was about a half a mile away, for the dedication there of a building for the secondary school. This building was built by funds from the ELCA. There are about 290 students in this relatively new secondary school. This one is growing definitely into the future. A surprise for all of us at this event was a presentation of a gift which we didn't know about, and it was presented by Bishop Hansen. And let's listen to what Bishop Hansen has to say.
So we want to give you a gift. We're going to give the gift to the bishops. And the gift from your friends in the ELCA, Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, is this new ambulance.
What a hope-filled sign for these people to receive an ambulance for future health needs of this community. As it is now, they have to travel 60 miles to the nearest hospital. This is a life-saving gift, and it brought tears to just about everybody's eyes. And then we were on to the clinic for their dedication. What a day, a school building, a clinic, and of course then some electricity. Your gift that is already helping this community to grow into the future. You can see the power lines there. And this has also allowed for them to get an info hut. This info hut is a computer lab that is built out of a shipping container. And you can see that in the inside it is already has been wired for electricity. And what it needs now are the 20 computers that are soon to arrive. These students in this very, very remote area of Zimbabwe will now have access to learning more on the computer, and the curriculum will be about HIV/AIDS and malaria, and also life skills. You, as a congregation, have been instrumental in bringing malaria prevention, treatment, sustainability, and capacity building to Zimbabwe. We praise be to God for the generosity and the vision in making this world a more hope-filled place.
I would like to send my greetings to the Ascension Lutheran Church for the heartfelt, support they've given us. Burure Parish, we were given, electricity. We are very thankful. The clinic was built, and it is actually completed. We are thankful. May the Lord help you. May the Lord continue guiding you.
Okay, that's just a brief part of it. But throughout the Gospels, you know, so oftentimes Jesus is about healing ministry, along with his other ministries as well. In the book of Acts, we heard the lesson today about Dorcas and Peter carrying on the work of Christ, healing ministry. And so the Acts of the Apostles continues today in our partnerships in Southern Africa. What we can do as a congregation, we continue to pray for each of them. We teach others, tell others the stories that you've heard today. Share it on social media. If you'd like to donate to raise more money for those bed nets that are needed, you may do so as well. On the way out of church this morning, you'll receive a pen with the elca.org/malaria website, just as a reminder to pray for this ministry and our partnership together. Amen.